association's responsibility. That list keeps getting longer. But if you have a question that's pertinent to what we're discussing, ask it. If not, my presentation usually takes an hour and a half, but maybe it'll be shorter today, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. I know that some of you have been here before. Use this as a point of information. If you are an officer of your building, when my administrative secretary calls you to come and have coffee with me the second Friday of the month, please come. Everything that I'm giving you now, you will get backup paperwork to bring back to your association. So this is open to everybody, whether you're a unit owner, a resident, a renter, whatever you want to call yourself. It's open to everybody. So I know that some of you have heard this before, but use it as a point of information. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is what UCO's mission statement. Oh, before we start, I just want to make sure that you know everybody here. We have Ruth Reese, the editor of our UCO Reporter. We have Joanne Robinson, she is our treasurer. Patricia Caputo, vice president. Eva Richeski, the vice president of WPRF. And to my right is Donald Foster, and everybody knows who I am. That young lady that just came in, could you sign in, please? There you go. All right. So what does UCO do? We oversee 5 major contracts. Contrary to belief, the security contract, transportation, the roads, and insurance. Why do we do that? Because in 1999, the bilateral agreement was signed, and once 75% of the associations signed it, it became the law. UCO office, what do? We have investigations, we do barcodes, we do gate passes, and we notarize paperwork for the association. Now, in some cases, we're not going to do divorces, decrees out of state, but we know that some of us have pensions, and they require that you bring in a form to a notary to sign it to show that you're alive. We will do those for you, and that's done as no charge. As far as barcodes, the first 6 months of 2025, from January to June, we did 994 barcodes, and we did just shy of 2,000 updates in 6 months. Now, consider that we do that 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, with volunteers. So you should be thanking them when you come in and to update your paperwork. We update phone numbers, we update your registration. We do not issue you your Century Village ID, contrary to belief. We also oversee our new UCO website, which is unitedcivic.org. If you're not familiar with that, make yourself familiar. There's lots of paperwork on there. It is interactive right now. We finally were able to put on, for those of you that are officers, if you need a form for investigations as a sale or a rental, your form to put your delegate assembly, you can now download it, print it, fill it out, and return it to the office. So that is something that we've been working on. And there's also a lot of other things on there. Make yourself familiar with it. And it's being updated almost on a weekly basis. As far as paperwork, we do investigation forms for sales and rentals. It is the responsibility of one of the officers to drop off that paperwork to the UCO office. Not the renter, not the owner, not the buyer, and definitely, other than an officer, that's the only ones that we're going to accept paperwork. If for some reason you do not have officers here that can drop the paperwork off, and we do check on Sunbiz to make sure that you're on that list, you can ask your management company to drop it off. Most of them do it, they're not happy with it, and they may even charge you. So when you do your annual elections, make sure that you have at least 2 officers there to drop off your paperwork. We do investigations. We do investigations, like I said, because that's part of the bilateral agreement. Why do you want it? We have associations that think they can do it on their own. You should not. Your management company, for a while, Seacrest was doing it. They now no longer do it, and we explained to them why. But if you go to do an investigation through UCO, and there's questions on the paperwork that you received, and you require a legal opinion, whether to approve or not approve the sale or the rental, you can bring it back to the office. We will send it out for a legal opinion for you. Should you follow our attorney's advice and for some reason you get sued, there's a $5,000 deductible on your policy. UCO picks up that $5,000. How good is our legal opinion if you follow it? In 10 years, we've paid out 3 times. So it's pretty accurate. And if you're not happy with our opinion, you can always bring it to your attorney and ask him for a second opinion to make sure that you do what needs to be done. Century Village is divided into 4 quadrants. So if you are a unit owner or you're an officer and you have questions for whatever those questions are, you have 4 vice presidents. Each vice president is in charge of a quadrant. You can either come to the office and ask for that vice president, or you could call up. If they're not there, you can leave a message. If you happen to come in person and your vice president is not there, your 4 vice presidents are Patricia Caputo, Jerry Satowski, Stuart Richland, and Bruce Stutzman. Those are the 4 VPs. If one of them are not there or if they're busy, you can either leave a message or ask to speak to one of the other vice presidents. If it happens that all 4 vice presidents are busy, you can always ask for me. And if I'm busy, you can always ask for Donald. The one thing that you'll get the same answer for all 6 of us.
More or less.
Or more or less.
More or less.
Okay? The difference that I can say it in 2, 3 different languages and he can only say it in 1. 2.5. Okay. All right. The one thing that we will not give you is legal advice. And as soon as you come into the office and you say, I have a question pertaining to, you're asking us for legal advice. We're not going to give, we're going to tell you to go see your lawyer. Okay? If you do not have a lawyer, every association should have an attorney on retainer that you can ask those questions for. The other questions that have been coming up, we have people that are telling to self-manage your building. Do we approve of it? No, we don't. You should have a management company. Why do you want to do it? Because they have a licensed CAM that knows proper procedures for holding annual meetings, doing paperwork to help you with your unit owners. They'll help you with your budgets. They'll help you with your annual elections. There's a procedure that needs to be followed. First mailer, second mailer, mail-in ballots. There's a minimal charge from your management company, but use your management company. Don't try to do it on your own. They will also, if you use your management company, they will give you a form after your annual meeting to update your officers. If it's Seacrest, it says Seacrest, they will update Sunbiz for you. That's your corporate part. To update your delegates, you need to fill in a separate form that UCO has for your delegates. On that form, even though it's very well explained, everybody that you list on there is not on as an alternate delegate unless you list them as an alternate delegate. The only person that's on is your president. Your president is usually your #1 delegate. Anybody else that's on there has to be listed as an alternate delegate. And if you do that, there will be no problems. And when the people come to sign in for you, it's first come, first serve. So if you list 5 people on there and you want to make sure that you'll be the delegate, make sure you get there first. Your management company will be able to send a violation letter. Should you have a tenant, or a unit owner that's in the rears, or you have a tenant that's not abiding by the rules and regulations of your building, the first person to go to is your management company. Management company will send a letter out on your behalf to the unit owner if it is a problem with a tenant. If it's a unit owner and he's in the rears, or whatever the problems might be, management company will be the person to do that. Any questions so far? Budgets, if you're on the board and your association has a management company that will give you a proposed budget, do not accept that as chapter and verse, Bible, etc. Go through it at least the first 6 months and make sure that what you're supplying you are pretty accurate numbers, which means you're going to have to sit down, review your bills for the last 6 months and see if that's within line of what your expenses are. Personal experience, we sent in the budget for my building and I used Seacrest, and they eliminated their contract with me completely to cut the grass and maintain the building. They also eliminated my legal fees. They also eliminated a bunch of things that should be included. If I didn't review that with my officers, we wouldn't have had any money in there for that. So make sure that you review it. Do not accept that what they're giving you is the final word. That's all I'm saying. And make sure that you do this with as many board members as possible. The more eyes that you put on there, the better off your budget will be. Attorney, why do you need an attorney? Everybody knows that, right? If you get sued, you need somebody to go to court, right? But you also need an attorney to update your governing documents. For those of you that are board members, there are 3 major documents: articles of incorporation, declaration, and bylaws. All 3 must say the same thing. And if you don't have an attorney to review it and look at that and let you know, 2 perfect examples, where somewhere along the line 10 years ago, somebody in your building decided you were a non-rental building and they changed your bylaws. But your governing documents don't say that. Guess what? You still have a rental building. The other one is pets and smoking. We're a non-pet friendly building, you can't smoke, but your declaration doesn't state it. Your bylaws are the last items on the totem pole. So you need an attorney to let you know that all 3 say the same thing. Yes, Rhoda, I know you have a question. I could tell.
Me?
Yeah.
I got a lot of statements, but I don't have a question.
Well, say it. Does it pertain to this?
It pertains to everything. But
Come on.
No.
Yeah, come on.
No.
We're gonna make this fun.
Yeah, I'm not in the mood for fun. But anyway, carry on.
Okay. If you do not know what those documents are and you're an officer, make sure that you get a hold of those 3 documents and you know them inside out, review them, and have your attorney review them to make sure that they all say the same thing. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over to Eva because she's going to tell you what WPRF does.
Right. Well, aside from recreation, the boards and WPRF work together when it comes to the ID office and the issuing of ID cards. So we don't decide what they're going to get, you decide what they're going to get, because you've got to do your background checks, you've got to do everything, get your paperwork in place, and you've got to fill out that certificate of approval, go through the proper channels, and then when you bring that in, we can issue that ID card. All right, the COA, we do not accept a COA that would have 2 signatures from people that live in the same apartment that are on the board. Right, so you have maybe a husband and wife and they live in the same apartment. We will not accept their signatures, both of them. It has to be 2 different board members that live in different apartments. That way we know that board members, more than one, knows what's going on in the building. Yes?
What if they own 2 units?
If they own 2 units,
The board-
well, we're only going to take the address where they're getting their mail and they're living.
Okay.
Hmm? Yes. Yeah, I will. Yeah. So also, so that's one of the things that we watch out for. The other thing is that we do allow is over the summer months, because so many of our board members are gone you may only have one person in the building. So we will accept one signature. We prefer the two, but if your back's to the wall and you know, timing is an issue, and we will accept that over the summer months. All right. Additional to that, just want to talk about the fact that we've got some people that are requesting or trying to show us their ID card by taking a picture of it and showing their phone. We don't accept that. The reason for that is all the cards belong to WPRF, and they are on loan to all residents and guests for following the rules and regs, and also for being current with your WPRF account. And if a card is expired, we want to confiscate it. So that's why you always have to have your actual real ID with you. We don't accept copies. Has to be the real ID. I know it makes us look like we're somehow behind the times, but we will not accept a picture of an ID. So if you have a resident moves in and you see that they've done that, please set them straight. Also, what we do give out for new owners is the new owner packet that's just packed with all kinds of information. So if you ever need one, you can go to the ID office, you can come up to the admin office, and we'll give you what you need to give out. Lots of numbers and information. We also have a lot of information here that Ruth is kind enough, our editor of the Reporter, that will put this in here. You can also tear this out and keep it for reference. We have missing IDs. So missing IDs meaning people aren't turning them in. Everything has to be turned in for the new owners or the new renters to get their IDs. So if that is not done, it slows up the whole process, and then there can be charges for the missing IDs of up to $100. So when you've got renters in your building, maybe have that conversation. You know, don't take them with you as a memento, or someone dies and the kids want to take the IDs because it's got their parents' picture on it. You know, we need to have that back. So any help that you can give in that would be very, very grateful. Let's see. I think that's it for now. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have some questions, but they're related more for the rec portion of Century Village.
Okay, well, maybe we can talk about that after.
Okay.
All right? All right,
Is
thanks.
it personal, or is it something that's open to everybody?
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
this is a learning place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's open.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, first, thank you very much for having the water fountain fixed. It's the best water ever, and we do appreciate that, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I've been calling him Jeff, but his name is Kevin, and your electrician are very, very nice and helpful, so thanks.
There's a microphone
You need to use that microphone.
right in the middle. There's a table. This way everybody could hear you.
Testing.
I wanted to ask about some things in regards to pickleball. It's like a really great sport that I've recently gotten into. I was, into tennis and enjoy that, but pickleball is amazing, and it becomes addictive, really. So, a couple of things I was wondering. It really is very, very hot, and I know that you have the screens on the fence that have to be put down during hurricane season. But I was wondering if it would be possible to put one fence up, and perhaps when there's a named storm, it could be brought down, just to give us a little shade on court number 1.
So you want the windscreen is what you're talking about, the windscreen.
Yeah, I bought some tarps, and I do try to put them up on occasion to give us a little shade, but it's a lot of labor, and I have to get up on a ladder.
You mean at my pickleball courts?
Yeah.
Oh, you should not be doing
Well,
that.
it's a step ladder. It's just a step ladder, but I won't do it if you don't want me to.
Please,
No
no,
worries.
that's our job.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that you come and make the request. I will discuss it with my maintenance supervisor. Weather has gotten crazy and it's more unpredictable than it's ever been. But we were taught a harsh lesson when we had some crazy storms that came in right before hurricane season. We had just put in the new courts, new fencing, and those windscreens were on there, and it just took everything down.
Yeah.
So, one side, and you're talking about the east side of Court One?
It would be the east side, yes.
All right, let me think about it,
Okay.
and we'll talk to Kevin and see what we come up with.
Okay, also, I wanted to ask about, is there any chance of us being able to share storage or have use of, I was able to go into a building that has, I don't know what it's called, but it's near the,
Shuffleboard.
well, it's the other one. It starts with a
Petanque.
Thank you, Petanque, yes. There was a couple of refrigerators, some coffee makers, things of that nature. I like to entertain and I like to give birthday parties for people who are having, landmark birthdays. So I was just wondering, as the pickleball people, can we join in using those things?
That actually, it belongs to the French Canadian Club, and because they have such large numbers in their groups, and it's hard for them, it's hard for any group that's of size to store all these things in an apartment. So we gave them that space under the stairs. That's their refrigerator, their coffee makers, everything belongs to them. Now, we do have a refrigerator that you can make use of the day of the event in our party room. And you're Tina, right?
Yes.
Yes,
At
okay.
AKA Bernadette.
Right. So, no, that's all private property.
Okay, if I were to approach them and ask them if they would share with us, would that be okay?
You can certainly have that conversation,
Okay,
but they would need to let me know that they're giving permission.
okay,
Because then you would need to have a key, or if they didn't want you to have a key, then you'd always have to meet with one of them to let you in and out. So that would be a conversation you would have with the French Canadians.
okay. And aside from that, would it ever be possible to have our own storage?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Mhm.
That's all I
I know
have.
you have that, the ball machine,
Yes.
so I don't really think there's much of anything else.
No, only if, we wanted to put things, just a way to have a party and have easy access to it, because it's a lot of labor, bring everybody having to bring and just have easy access.
Okay, so I do have some cabinets that would be available possibly in the party room itself in the kitchen. So
Okay.
maybe we need to have that conversation after this meeting.
Okay,
And if it's not a lot, then, maybe we can work that out.
thank you so much. And lastly, I would just like to ask, is it ever possible to have some of the signs within the community, refreshed? They're very broken and, in need of repair.
We are preparing budgets to present at the end of the month to the committee. And we've beefed up that line because there are quite a few signs that need replacing. The sun is brutal.
Yeah.
Sun is brutal.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious if we are considering I'm just, is it off?
Perhaps.
Switch up.
Flip it up.
I just,
Testing.
I'm just curious, I'm not sure if it would be UCO or WPRF, but have we considered putting in a bank of electric chargers for residents to use? And it could potentially be a revenue stream for Century Village.
You're talking about the electric cars.
Yes,
Yes, that possibility has been discussed. That would be a UCO function. It's perhaps a project for the future, but we have studied it in depth. The two locations that we would have available would be the Plymouth Laundry and 5400 Fairway Street, which is the cable office. But something we could look at in the future. Okay?
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, good. Okay, now comes your part. That's the longest part, and it's going to get longer. The association's responsibility is to have a board of directors, to hold annual meetings. You now, as of July 1st, 2024, must have 4 meetings a year. Every quarter, you need to have an association meeting. Has to be posted, you have to notify everybody that it is. 2 are very easy. One is your budget meeting and one is your annual meeting. So you have 2 other meetings that you have to have. You do not have to have a quorum there, but you still must post it and make who was there, that you held a meeting on that day, and that you did not have a quorum. But you must do it. That's part of 718. You must maintain your building. So if you are a unit owner, or if you're just a resident, if you see something and you're a resident, notify your board. Make sure that your board walks around the building every once in a while, and that you have no trips and no falls and anything that could jeopardize the insurance or insurance claims on your building. Work with your management company. Don't be, I was talking to somebody this week, well, I like picking the grass and I went out and I bought 50 bags of stones and I put them around my building, and then I gave it to the president of the building and say, here, you owe me $200 for stones. Talk to the board. Don't go off and do it on your own. Okay? Paperwork. It's the responsibility of the officers to submit the paperwork. I don't know why it's such a hard thing, but the new thing since we've been going, that you can no longer type up or write up your own lease extensions. We now have board members that can't be bothered, and they sent the tenant with their new lease and say, go to Yuko and get it typed up and bring it back to me. No, it's your responsibility to make sure that you are the one that are coming in and asking for it. If you're, do not send, this was the one, somebody came in with a little note. The president is sick today, so they sent me, I'm a unit owner, to get the paperwork for the association. No, you gotta do it. It's up to you. If you possibly can't do it, then you're gonna have to use your management company. You can't proxy somebody else to do your job. Definitely no realtors, no buyers, no renters. Donald's policy is if he's a, how should we call it? A nice realtor, we're not gonna deal with them. We're gonna ask them to leave. So, all members should do their 4-hour certification class. If you have not done it, make sure that you do it. And we were just informed that the 1-hour update class is now available online. So if you took your 4-hour class, now DBPR has the 1-hour update class, which is gonna be mandated this year. So stay together with your certificates.
How long is the 4-hour class good for?
As long as you're on the board, up to 5 years, I believe,
But you have to take the
of the 1-hour update.
1-hour class now.
Right,
Keep that.
Every year?
right, exactly.
Now, when do you have to take that? How long after you did your 4-hour?
They just became available. They haven't, this is the first since October of 2023 that they said the 1-hour class would be made available. Joanne just found it, so.
But it has to be done every year.
Yeah, as long as you're on the board and you want to maintain your
Where
certification,
do you find it online?
Becker and Polikoff has it on their line. I believe we put it up on the, is it on the channels yet?
Not yet.
Okay, we will have a screen up on the channels shortly to make it available where to go to.
Roder, it's also going to be in my next week's report. There'll be a link.
Donald will have it in his report.
It's one of those courses you have to register for, because you need to get that certificate back from them. So if you're a Becker client, it's free, otherwise it's $25. And as far as the length of time that it's good for, I don't think that the legislation has addressed that yet. I think it's still in, they're still working this out. So.
Actually, what the law says is that you need to be certified each year taking the 1-hour class.
Right, and this is the first year that they did it, so it's like going forward,
You say
there's-
it's free with Becker?
If you're a
Becker
client.
Yes. And you are, so.
So the next HOA Condo Expo will be in October downtown. And I'm sure that it will be available down there also. I haven't gotten any paperwork yet, but soon. I know that the date is in October. 16th of October? Okay. So, and they may have the 1-hour class at that time on top of the 4-hour class. But we're just giving you what to look for. The officers should have a list of all the unit owners. It's amazing that some of the officers do not know who the owners of their building are. The best way to do that, and Patricia started this in our building, in October, November, ask your management company to give you a current list of all the unit owners. That would be the best way to have that.
You mean just their names?
Well, names and addresses, contact, they're making payments.
The company don't even know the addresses, actually.
They're getting payments from the unit owners. They should be able,
With a dog, yeah, but come on.
I think what Fausto's trying to say is, you want to make sure that there were no conveyances over the past years. Sometimes units will change hands in the family or between people, and they just don't bother to tell the board. The bills may be getting paid, but there's a new owner. What I personally do in my association, and when I say me, I mean my wife Christine, once or twice a year, she runs through all 24 units in PAPA, in the Property Appraiser's website, and just sees if there's been any changes, add-ons. That's another one. People say, let me put my daughter on. We need to know about that as board members, right? So, because why? We want to get that person investigated. They now have an obligation to the board, okay?
the next is a perfect, it's called the Papal Seal, corporate, I'm sorry?
Oh, with this signing.
Oh, okay, all right. Corporate seal. The corporate seal is very important to conduct business in your building. The state statute says it should not be more than 40 miles away from your place. So if you're in Canterbury, Dover, wherever you are, 40 miles. Can't be in Chicago, can't be in Texas, can't be in Canada. It must be there. If for some reason your secretary, your president, treasurer absconds with the corporate seal, go on Amazon and order a new one. Staples will do it for you, and if all else fails, just call Donald, and Donald will be more than be able to help you to order a new seal. But you should if you're an officer of the building, that corporate seal should be available for you at all times. You're approving sales, you're approving rentals, any documentation. Sometimes you need even the new storage, those pods that are coming in, you need a form to be submitted to Donald, and it requires your signature and a corporate seal. So, yes, ma'am?
All of our board members live away, so I'm not quite sure where our seal would be.
You should know,
Yeah.
if you're an officer, you should know
Well,
where it's at.
I'm not, but I was.
Okay.
But my question would be this, the person holding the seal, do they have to be a board member? Is that correct?
They should be.
They should be.
Could they
Some
be-
associations do leave their seal with their manager if the manager agrees to hold it. Some give it to a trusted unit owner, basically deputizing the person. But you gotta do that right. And have a meeting, you have to put it in the minutes and make that person, well, I call it on the books.
Okay. May I ask one more question?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so, we've had so many people pass, and we have so few people in our property. So my concern is, we're a non-rental building, and they always have been. If they should want to turn it into rentals, is that a choice that the board would make alone? Would it
No,
have to be all
absolutely not.
unit owners?
First, the board would make a decision whether or not to move forward with that idea. But then there would have to be what's called a special membership meeting.
Okay,
There's a notice requirement. Notices would have to go out in the mail, proxies, and every unit owner would have the opportunity to vote on that.
okay.
Now, depending on your documents, it could be anywhere from 51% of your unit's affirmative vote up to 100%. It depends on your documents,
Okay.
all right?
But before you go through all of that, you talk to your attorney to make sure that your governing documents and your declaration and your bylaws all say that you are a non-rental building. Because somewhere
Right.
along the line, somebody may have changed the bylaw, but not have changed the other two pieces of documentation.
This is not a DIY job for the board. This is a lawyer job.
Yeah.
Your manager probably won't even do it for you either.
Thank you.
Okay, corporate seal, very important that it's on property all the time. If you have a new owner, a new renter, the board should be responsible to let the renters or the new owners know that we have the UCO reporter. that we have 3 TV channels, 590, 591, and 592. On those channels, there's a lot of information. It's updated daily. If we have new things to put on there, we get nice, beautiful renderings from WPRF. If there's a closure at the clubhouse, if there's something going on, if classes are being canceled, and we post it for them right away. We make sure that it's available. Also, on 592, for the last month, there was 2 items that were running back to back. One was the presentation from BreezeLine, what they were proposing, and the second was a 9 to 10 minute video explaining House Bill 913. Its pros, its cons, but how it affects you as board members and unit owners. Spend the 10 minutes and watch it. It doesn't give you all the answers, but it clears up a lot of different things for you. Yes? Right after this lady, again.
My question is any of these channels available on YouTube, or, because I don't have BreezeLine because they wanted to staple wires all over my house. There's nothing,
Let me answer that.
Go ahead.
Emma, you can go to unitedcivic.org and click on the community channel tab, and you can get 590 and 591. 592 is a private channel, so you're only going to get that with a television, with a connection to BreezeLine. So if you want to see anything on that, go to your sisters, or come to the office. If you want to see it privately, we'll put it on in UCO for you.
Terrific, thank you.
But 592 is a limited channel. The I apologize. We do have, it's called CVTV Admin on YouTube. If you want to go to YouTube, you have to search for CVTV Admin is the name of the channel, the YouTube channel. I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
I don't have television at all, so I can come into the UCO office and ask.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Sure.
Thank
All right, you have a question, ma'am, go ahead.
Yes, I want to go on record on something about BreezeLine. And I don't
Could you
want
get the microphone?
No, if it's, because
Take the
I
microphone.
missed meeting with.
Take the microphone.
Here, they can't hear you.
Start again.
But I'm very upset about something, and I can talk now, or should I?
Sure,
wait it?
that's what it's here for. That's what we're here for.
Well, BreezeLine, I pay $8 every month for a box in case my box breaks. All the equipment, every equipment that BreezeLine puts into our homes are used equipment. They do not use new equipment. Your boxes are used, everything is used. So I am paying $8 every month for a used box, not a new box. That's number one. Number two, I was told that I needed new wiring because I had all dropped calls. They never put, this goes on for years. They don't do anything because they want to make sure that people are so disgusted with their service that they'll put in new wiring like what's proposed now. And I'm just so upset with that company because I've had issues, the same issue year after year. And I'm on a caption phone because my hearing is very bad. I have a hearing disability. And my caption people solved the problem after years just by giving me a new wire and moving my modem into another room. So before we sign any contracts, I think that should be looked into. Why am I paying $8 for a used box? And they replace boxes to me like crazy. So if they had to replace the boxes and I didn't pay the $8, what would have happened?
All right, first thing, ma'am, I want to apologize.
And when I
Go
told
ahead.
Breeze Line, they said to me, your association has, did not sign for new equipment. And I don't know if that's true or not true, but that's what they told me. My association did not sign
Okay.
for new equipment.
Ma'am, first I want to apologize for your bad experience with our cable service. And I want to make sure that you're personally taken care of. Obviously, you have some special needs. After the meeting, please stop and see Joanne and I, and we're going to put you in touch with an expediter, someone who can come to your place and figure out what you have going on.
Excuse me.
No, this is not, I know you did, but
I don't want to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Because of my hearing problem.
I understand.
You have to talk to me one-on-one.
Exactly.
So
So after the meeting, come and see me, okay? I'm gonna escalate this for you, all right? That's the first thing. The second thing is, we are aware that the people that work in your unit, the installers, the repairmen, they're saying certain things that have not entirely true. You can talk to our cable chair, she can give you the straight story.
I have to see you after the meeting. Because
Absolutely.
I'm losing some.
Okay, but this is for everybody as well.
Thank you so much.
We're aware that there's some issues with the service, and the committee is working very hard on this, all right?
Okay. For those of you that have computers, make sure that you use our community website. Make sure you're aware of what it is. For if you are an officer or you are a unit owner and you're having work done in your building, the work should be done by a licensed and insured individual. If you are an owner, it's your responsibility to contact the board member, let them know what you're doing, give them a copy of the insurance and a copy of the license of the worker that's going to be working in their building. Some of the work that you are having may require a vote of all the unit owners. The most important part for you to remember, if you are a unit owner or a board member, you do not own the interior walls of your unit. They belong to the association. Everybody wants to make an open floor plan. Everybody wants to take down a half a wall, a third of a wall. You must notify the board if you're going to do that. And for the board members, when you get that certificate of insurance, make sure that the owner of the unit is listed as additional insured, and make sure that you, the building, is also listed on that box as additional insured. One thing that's come to light that Donald is ready to talk about, there's a little tiny box that they're checking off, which is liability, right?
Yeah.
Workman's comp, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
there's a little box at the bottom left corner of the typical certificate. And you want that to be checked no, and you don't want it to be left. That's for workers' compensation. You want to make sure that the person is not listing himself as exempt from that. Because if they do, guess whose workers' comp is going to cover anything that happens? Your associations. The other thing that just came to mind as Fausto was talking was, all right, Rhoda wants to take down half her kitchen wall. She does the right thing. She tells the board, look, this is what I'm looking to do. Here's the plans. Here's all the information. You, the board, really need to run this by your attorney, because you may need to get a membership vote to approve that, because that's a common element, and typically any additional alteration to common element requires a membership vote with varying levels of affirmative, no less than 51%. So anybody wants to take anything down, jackhammer the floor, anything like that, please check with your attorney first. Make sure you guys are doing it right, all right? Thank you.
Okay, the next thing, if you are a board member and you have a new owner and you have a new renter coming into your building, make sure you explain to them what a common element of the building is. the walkways, the parking lot, the lanai in the back of the building. Explain it to them. Especially the lanai does not belong to the unit. It's a shared common element. It actually belongs to the building. So if the person wants to take out the walls, rip up the floor, make the bedroom floor and the lanai all even, pour concrete, they can't do that. They're not allowed to do that.
You know, it's funny you say they can't do that. Just the other day, I have, there's an owner that was on second floor. He'd been fighting elevator. And I said, we're not doing elevator now, we have more important things we're dealing with. Well, when I saw him the other day, he said he's putting in, I don't know what type of elevator this is gonna, it's only for one person, I think I'm running with that. And it's only for him to use, and he's gonna pay for it, and nobody can use. And I am trying to explain all these things, doesn't get it, doesn't care. Now, I mean, I don't know if somebody's gonna show up and try to install this one person.
All right, Rhoda,
whatever it is.
two things. When someone asks for an elevator or a chairlift or anything of that nature, remember that you're very likely dealing with someone who has some sort of handicap and is asking for a reasonable accommodation, which is covered by federal law. Lawyer, instantly, don't mess around. Having said that, nobody puts a screwdriver to your building without you approving it in writing and in advance, okay? That happens, you call Seacrest, you call me, we'll be down there like white on rice, all right? But this particular thing, be very careful with, because in his own way, he may be requesting a reasonable accommodation. You know what you're gonna do, you're gonna come see me or Shauna, so, or both.
No.
All right, you keep an eye on your building.
Please do. Don't be afraid.
Don't be
And if you
afraid.
have to contact your lawyer, contact your lawyer.
Don't stress about this. If something's gonna happen, 2 minutes, we're down at your building, you know that.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes,
You're referring to a lanai. I refer to it as my back porch.
right,
My back patio, same thing.
same thing, yes,
That's common area?
yes. That's it.
Where do you live?
Dorchester J.
Dorchester J, your lanai is limited common element. It does not belong to the unit owner. It belongs to the association. However, you have the exclusive use of it.
Okay, so my panels on the bottom are metal. And
Those panels are 100% yours. Those are an alteration that you or your predecessor made from the original screen wall, which was screens from top to bottom. Are you first floor or second floor?
First.
First floor, so it's just plain old screens, top to bottom. Anything you put on is going to be considered to be your responsibility to fix.
Okay, if I wanted to replace them, would I have to take that through the board?
Yeah, absolutely. And very likely you're going to need a permit for that as well.
Just when these apartments were built, those were never enclosed. Those were all open screens. So anytime, I know that Dover's been going through this for years, that at one point they enclosed them. And unfortunately, the last owner is the person that's responsible. So if you're gonna take that down, if you're gonna remove that wall, update the wall, it is your responsibility to do that.
You notice I asked where you lived, because that actually matters. Does anyone here live in Stratford, Plymouth, Oxford? In that case, your lanai would actually be unit, it would belong to the unit. Dover, is the lanai's unit or limited common?
It's limited common.
So same as the garden apartments.
Okay. Corporate Transparency Act, it's on, it's off. It's just listed on there. If you haven't done it, don't worry about it. Huh?
It's off again.
I know it is, but I'm bringing it up just in case, so that they're aware of it. If you have 25 units or more in your building, you are now required by December 31st, 2025, to have a website. All your documents, all financials, anything that you've done to the building should be listed on that website and made available to every single unit owner. Part of that is also, in the past, you now have somebody that wants to sell their apartment and they want a copy of their bylaws. And I know lots of us said, well, here, you know, I'll make a copy for you. I want $30, $50, $100, whatever crazy thing it is. We'll go to the store. You now have to give it to them for free. So if you put it on a website, they can go to the website and they can print it on their own. But it has to be made available to whoever asks for it. And if you,
What's those websites? Are there companies, website companies?
yes, there's lots of companies that are doing it.
And you hand over all your documents?
Yeah, right. It was pretty simple. Originally, it was very simple. You put your documents on your website and everybody can go there. But as of 2025, House Bill 913 came about, and that puts a little more of a strain on the website. It requires additional information basically to be updated on a monthly basis. Okay? So there are some people that are capable of putting up a website and doing all of this on their own, but you're going to be required sooner or later to have a company do it for you, and you're going to have to keep feeding them the information. Now, we went from 150 units to 25. There's nothing that says that by next year it's going to go to everybody. Our personal recommendation to make it easy for the board, especially for boards that are not here year-round, whether you have 12 units, 5 units, or 26 units, to have a website. All that information is on there, and it'll make your officer's life a lot easier, especially if you have officers that are not on premise.
How do you go about finding these companies?
We'll talk to you. Yeah, Condo Expo would be one of them, that you have them available. But there are other companies that are doing it.
So they have to be on retainer to keep updated?
You gotta pay, yes, exactly. Well, that was one of the problems that we ran into. Originally, some of the people, Becker and Polycorp, when this first came about, said, yeah, we'll do it. And then when they realized how intricate and how much work was involved, they said, no, we're not doing it anymore. So, I understand that Secret says that their new accounting system has the availability to do that, which we don't know if it's true or not true. But in their past record for the last 8-9 months, can we trust them to make sure that that would be available?
None of us want to be the guinea pig.
Right. I personally don't want to be the first one to say, go ahead and try it out. But it's something that you're going to need to do. So look into it, make yourself available to it. Directors and officers claims. The reason why it's in here, because certain things came to light. There is a time limit to put in a claim that was filed against the officers and directors. And this came to light a month ago or so, where an association decided not to put in a claim. They got sued, they went to court, spent all kinds of money, and they lost in court, and came out and called the insurance carrier and said, hey, we have a directors and officers claim from 2 years ago. And they said, no, it's too late. So if you have a claim, if you're an officer and you get paperwork, anything that says that you're being sued, and you are one of our clients, make sure you drop it off in the office and that we're aware of it to cover yourself. And please don't handle any of these law claims on your own. I know that we have people that were attorneys and on the Mayflower when they came over, but the laws today change too rapidly. Sure, absolutely.
Has there ever been a president of an association that's gotten impeached?
Sure.
Really?
Sure.
Like, what do you have to do to get impeached?
We say impeachment because that's like from Seinfeld, but it's called recall.
Okay.
It can happen. Let's say the statute provides for you, the membership, are not happy with the board or a particular member of the board. A certain percentage of the membership could initiate a recall. And there's a certain way to do that, and there's forms, we have them. It's not done very often, but it can be done. There's an appeals process. The other thing that's much more common is reorganization. The board itself decides, this guy's not cutting the mustard, let's reorganize. The president or a quorum of the board at any time during the year can call a reorganizational meeting. 48 hours notice, it's a regular notice meeting, and you just reshuffle. Just say, I make a motion that Rhoda's impeached and Donald's the new president. There's a second, there's discussion, it's the more common than recall. Recall is actually pretty rare because there's a lot of legal steps that have to be done, and usually an attorney is involved.
No, nobody would be.
What, are you worried about being impeached?
No, I'm looking to get impeached.
I kind of thought you were going to say that.
Someone else is gonna say, yeah, I'll do it.
Well,
Do it better, nobody.
You know when that first mailer goes out and it says, you know, do you want to run for office?
Ignore it.
Ignore it. Don't put it in. And you'll be free and
You know
done.
what? I wouldn't be able to live with myself, because there is nobody. And then what? And then give it over to somebody.
McDonald's is always looking to hire. You can get a part-time job over there, you get paid.
Rhoda, we hear this quite a bit.
Yeah.
If it's not me, no one else would step up. But guess what? Almost 100% of the time, because sometimes people get off the board through no faults of their own. God decides they're not going to be on the board anymore. And guess what? People always step up. They may not be as good as you, they may not be as attentive as you, especially at
It
first.
doesn't take much to be as good as me.
It takes years. I believe it takes a full year for a director to learn the job, the documents, the contracts, and the procedures. But someone always steps up, because we all have a stake, an economic, a money stake.
You know, people, I don't know, in my association, don't care. They do not. We put up notices about meetings. I always remind them. Did you see that? Oh, you know I never look at that stuff. And I've had like at least 6 people tell me, I said, but there's always up there because it's important. It's important.
Hey, Rhoda, you want to get you want to get your membership to the next meeting? Speak to your manager, Matthew. You know Matthew.
Yes, yes.
He has a special trick he uses to get people to show up. He puts something in the agenda like discussion of a $1,000 assessment per unit.
Oh, it's so funny you bring that up.
You'll have a full house.
We're doing the meeting at UCO on Monday.
I know, I'm preparing for it now, mentally.
Okay, people do not know anything about it. I asked people, did you get the letter about the meeting? I don't think, no, I didn't. So
Well, as long as you,
they don't have their address.
Rhoda, as long as you slap the notice up on the corkboard, you've fulfilled your obligation.
Notices went out by mail, that Seacrest sent
Yeah.
out.
And
people still don't.
half of them wind up in the garbage, you know that. But
No, I don't.
what's frustrating directors now, Rhoda, is because now we're required to have 4 meetings, but that doesn't mean that people have to show up to them. You have to notice them, somebody has to show up, and he's a quorum of the board, but there doesn't have to be anything on the agenda. We have meetings now that show up at UCO, nobody shows up, there's nothing on the agenda, there's no quorum, meeting adjourned. But you've fulfilled your requirement for your 3rd or 4th meeting.
I don't understand, I just don't get it. I don't understand people.
Well, Rhoda, let me explain something to you, because you feel it in your board. How do you think we feel at UCO? First Friday of every month, we have a delegate assembly.
My husband,
We put a package together, and in that package, we put flyers, we put financial information, we give you as much information as possible. 2 months ago, we had an explanation from A to Z on how to fix barcodes, what you must do, what information you must have. This was on Friday. On Monday, one of the delegates that was there literally called UCO and said, I need to find out what you people are doing about barcodes and updates. I said, well, did you get the package? She goes, yeah. Did you look at it? No. Well, if you look on page 5 or 6, there's a complete outline, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, step by step, who has to do it. She goes, oh, I never look at that. So we can't, it's like bringing the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Unfortunately, as long as you do the best of you can, and this is what we're here for. I mean, I've been doing this now in here since May of last year. Last month was the first month that one person showed up, which, yeah, he's sitting in the back, okay? But we're all here. Sometimes you have 3 vice presidents, sometimes you have 1. Eva has been here every month except for once, okay? Because we want to interact with you. We're here, most of us know this stuff, and we live it every single day. And we're trying to teach you guys to bring you up to date, because I know you guys have lives and you have things that you have to do. You have families, like we do, but to make your life easier and to let you know what we do. Because there's a lot of people that don't know what Eva's office does. They don't know what UCO does. I mean, they think that UCO, we serve coffee and cake 24/7. Honestly, and we don't. We put, if you go back 5 years ago during COVID, do you remember our community channels? What was on that channel?
No.
It was a garbage truck that told you the dates and the times and the pickup, our guardhouses, and 1 or 2 things that played for 4 years. There was nothing on there. 4 years, because the 2 people that were in charge didn't care. They couldn't be bothered. When Joanne took it over and then became available, that's when we started putting a lot of information over there.
You know, we have quite a few, I'm sorry if I'm.
That's all right.
We have quite a few snowbirds. And when they come here, they're on vacation.
Yes.
They don't care, they don't want to be bothered, and that's the way it is.
And Rhoda, that's their right. There will always be
But
unit
they
owners.
are an owner.
There will always be unit owners, and this is in condominiums all over the world, and I've worked in 2 states, but pretty much everywhere. There will be unit owners that simply want to pay their bills, enjoy their unit, and enjoy their community in South Florida. They have the right to do that. However,
No, but
However,
interest in where you're
we understand that, but what the unit owners sometimes need to be told is, if you can't help, then we're going to hire help, and you'll pay 1/24 of that.
I don't think they care.
You know. If you feel that the workload that you and your fellow directors are getting is too much for you, you can put some of this onto your management company. That might require an addendum to your contract, which means money. If nobody, most of us pretty much run our own buildings, and it's a money thing, because we're doing things that in the outside world management does for money. All right, but if you need to juice up your contract so that management does more of the legwork, you can. And those snowbirds and vacationers will have to foot the bill. It's that simple. Don't stress yourself about this.
I think it's part of the human condition. Ignorance is bliss. And they really don't care. And I can wallpaper the clubhouse everywhere with signs, and it doesn't make a darn bit of difference until security says to them, you can't do that, and then they want to know, well, where does it say that? And that's why, because when I first got here, I felt like I was wasting your money. I'm putting all these signs up, nobody bothers to read them, or my personal assistant is constantly making signs that we send over to UCO to put on the channels. But, you know, it's our job to put it out there, and there are those that do, thankfully.
If anyone can see our bulletin board with the mailbox, the things I hang up there, and I'm thinking, why do I bother? If you drove by now and you looked at what's up there, you know, and I'm thinking, nobody is interested, nobody cares. I mean, and they'll tell me to my face, I never read that stuff. Really? And not one person, at least 6 people.
It happens to all of us, Rhoda. Trust me when I tell you, it happens to all. And you say, in my building, I live in Greenbrier, we have one chalkboard and we had one seal cabinet. We were putting so many things on there for people to read that somebody decided to rip it off the wall. because it was enclosed. I had to replace it, I had to put new up there. Why do they do that? I don't know. But you, as long as you're satisfied that you're doing the right thing, that's all that should matter.
I'm trying.
You're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a great job.
The fact that you're showing up every month for this meeting puts you at the top of the list of board members.
We have 2 more things to discuss, and then we can talk. Yes, you had your hand up, Kathy?
Yeah, can the packet for the delegates meetings be put up on the website or sent out to the email list that you have in advance of the delegates meeting? It used to be.
I don't know, Joanne, that's your question.
I mean, we could mail check it, I guess, if you wanted to.
It reminds people that the delegates meeting is coming up. It lets you know what, you can read the minutes ahead of time.
Well, if they don't read Donald's report, that reminds people of all the meetings and all the things that's going on, and why do you think they're going to be reading that package?
It's just another thing that you're sending out to help people.
We'll look into it.
The UCO paper tells you every month when
Right.
it's the delegate. How long is it to know? First Friday of the month.
It's just nice to know what the minutes are. You can review them in advance instead of trying to read them when people are trying to talk to you.
We'll look
what's
into
coming
it.
up into the
We'll look into it to see if it's feasible to do that. Okay? All right. The other thing, if you're an officer or you're a unit owner, every 2 years, you're supposed to file a census with your building. Years ago, you had to do the census, you had to mail it to the state. Right now, you just have to do it every 2 years, and it's just the property of the association. I suggest that you use your management company, make a mailer out that with a form saying, we need to know that what your age is, the apartment number, and with a photo ID attached to it.
Wasn't that the transfer?
No, this was totally different. This is yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is there something I can cite to prove that this is true? Or
What is true?
What is true?
that we need to do the census?
State statute,
Yeah, which one?
718.
Thank you. Later on, could you give me the section? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, it's not a problem. Okay? I'm just letting you know, years ago, I think up until 6 years ago, you had to do it and file it, and there was a filing fee, $60 or $80, and the governor did away with that, but you're still responsible to do it. One of the questions that came up is, why are you telling us about the census? We had a situation, not that long ago, where a building rejected someone that was underage to purchase an apartment. And that turned out into a lawsuit. The first thing that the lawyer requested, give us a copy of your census. And the people in the building, the president said, what census? So it was an automatic loss because they had no census. They could not prove the age of the individuals that were in the building. Will you ever need it? You may never need it. But in some cases, you may need it, and it's a lot easier to do it and have it on file. And you should have it on file. Okay.
But what about when you do investigations and they have?
Well, that's your backup paperwork, but if you have, like, I have 56 units. So am I going to go and to take out 56 packages, make copies of everybody's information to give it to the lawyer?
That's proof of how old the
Yeah,
people are.
They're not gonna go through the packages, they're gonna want to see your list.
Rhoda, in my building, my wife is the secretary, and when she last did it, there were 2 unit owners who refused to give copies of their license. They thought it was Big Brother or the CIA or something. So when we just got tired of asking, I told my wife, go into the box, pull out their original investigation reports and use that. But we wanted to, as a last resort. But yeah, of course you have
So
that.
where do you get the form for the census?
I use the management company, they put it together for me. They made the mailer, they give you a roster of who they mail it to, and it comes back to the board.
And I use Becker. So you have Seacrest and Becker, so take your pick.
So the thing about mailings, Seacrest did the mailings for this, meeting we're having Monday, and most of the people didn't receive it.
That's okay, but you have a record.
Yeah, but then we.
There's an affidavit, your manager signs an affidavit of mailing, and that goes into your records, and that's proof that you mailed it out, you're covered.
But evidently, their addresses where they're living up north or wherever they're living, evidently we don't have them.
Well,
You know what I mean?
but if it was undeliverable, the management company will give them back to you, that they made an attempt to mail it and it came back. You fulfilled your obligation, and they give you a paper, an affidavit saying that the mailer was made and was mailed out. They give you a rasta. Anything that comes back will come back to you. So that you fulfilled your obligation. Again, you can only do so much.
I'm thinking maybe these people really did receive it.
No, of course,
Saying they didn't.
absolutely. Listen,
Oh, I didn't know.
out of 56 units, I'll use my building, I had 23 that returned the paperwork, exactly 50%. And 18 of those it says right on there to give me a copy of your passport or a photocopy of your driver's license. 80% checked off the box and didn't put their picture in there. So I had to go into file, make photocopies, and put it onto my census so that my census was up to date. But I still, half of my census, people didn't answer. And I know that they're alive. I know that they're there. They just choose to ignore it. But at least I've done my part. Okay? Before we go to the last part, after the census, which is House Bill 913, you should be aware of all the different IDs. If you are a unit owner, you'll have an ID that's either all white or a red stripe on the bottom that says resident. If you are a tenant or an occupant, you'll have a green stripe. If you have a yellow stripe, that is a guest. So if you see somebody walking around your building and says, well, I'm a guest of Mrs. Jones, say, well, do you have an ID? You can ask as an officer. If she doesn't have one, say, please get one, or contact Mrs. Jones and say, if you have a guest that's going to be here, they're available at the ID office, and they go from $10 for 2 weeks, right, if I remember correctly?
What's 10 for 1 and 20 for 2?
Okay, so 10
Those
for,
codes strike something fairly new.
no. Okay. Yes.
Well, we done a revalidation when I got back here to the village. So any resident card that does not have the orange stripe should be turned into the ID office for a new one. And I know people are still walking around with those because it's a younger picture. They don't want to turn them in. But anybody, and it's for free. We'll do it for free. Or if the card is faded and you really can't make out the face, just come on by. We'll give it to you for free. The resident pass is also the only pass that doesn't have an expiration date. Right? Everything else has an expiration date. So that's another thing that we're always watching out for, to confiscate. But I just wanted to say that you should come in, turn in your white, solid white ID cards for the one with the orange stripe on it.
I'm not gonna do it.
One of the last holdouts, huh?
Okay, the last one, which is very important if you are an officer of the building. There is an ID that has a blue stripe on it. And that means that whoever the tenant or whoever the new unit owner is, there's a problem with the paperwork. And rather than hold up the individual, Eva came up with putting a blue stripe on there. This is issued twice for 2 weeks. So if you have a renter you can't get a hold of the landlord, can't get the lease or whatever, they will go to the office and they will extend it for 2 weeks to give the landlord and the board to come and give them a new certificate of occupancy. If, in most cases, the blue on a sale is where the old owner did not turn in their IDs. So rather than hold up the processing, they will issue an ID with a blue stripe. If you're an officer, make sure you're aware of it, that they cannot get a barcode with a blue stripe. That's the only one that they can, or a yellow stripe.
Where was the yellow again?
The yellow is a guest,
Oh,
okay? But sometimes things do happen. Even I spoke last week that we had someone that is an occupant that got a pass with a yellow stripe on there that didn't belong there. And we were told they ran out of ink, right?
So the printer, it doesn't pop up and tell you that your ink is getting low. So all of a sudden, if they run out of one color, it'll print the color closest to it. So the yellow became, what was it, a green, right? Or the green became a yellow. The green became a yellow, which is guest, but it said occupant on it. So we had contacted the woman and she came in.
I think you did better without the stripes.
Why?
That's a lot easier.
It's easier for security, right? It also highlights the expiration date, it pops
I
out.
think in the past just says the name and either occupant, owner, or guest, period, the end.
But they have to look it up.
They have to know the colors.
It's very, very hard. That was very hard. And if you remember, I used to work bingo and I was at the door checking IDs. And trust me when I tell you, the people with the finger over the date, when I saw the color, it made it very, very simple for me.
Really?
Yes. Okay?
What if you're colorblind?
I don't know.
All right now, Rhoda.
All right. So hopefully you have, if you have questions about those, and it makes it very simple
I
to.
have to catch the bus.
I'm coming out to talk.
I'll call the office.
No, get the information from her.
There's also
Okay.
other information on
Yes.
that ID card. There are numbers at the bottom, and the last number tells us how many times an ID card has been issued, right? If it's lost, and you come back in to get a new one. For guest ID, you know, we have guests that come. I always believe that if you're a guest, you're on your best behavior. We don't get that necessarily. The guest is a problem, but they're not going to tell us who they're a guest of. So now we've put that on a guest ID in the bottom left corner because the resident is responsible for their guest. So we may not be able to go after the guest, but we can go after the resident. You know, and the residents, a lot of them do not remember to apprise their guest of the rules. Right? So then they come and they do things that they shouldn't be doing, and instead of being, if security comes or someone else says you're not allowed to do that, and they say, oh, sorry, I didn't know, we get an attitude. So there's other information on there, especially on the back. All right, about no copying, no loaning, that's why we put a picture on there. But you know, even with that, when they're busy putting the ID down on the printer to print a copy, that's staring back at them. But as we say, they don't read anything, and they'd rather say that they know nothing, right? But we try to put as much information on there, some of it to help you, some of it to help us.
Okay. Any other questions on the IDs? It's very important. And we were able to narrow it down. For those of us that have been here for a while, at one point we had like, what, 13 colors? There was purple, there was gray, you know. In fact, the first time I came to Century Village, I got a red card with a round picture in the middle. Remember those?
Yep.
Yep.
Solid red.
Solid red.
Oh, solid red. Picture.
Yeah.
Solid red, then when we revalidated one time, it was green. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We've really progressed.
We've made it a lot easier for all us older
And
people.
5 years from now, there'll be something else. We won't be doing.
Well,
I won't be doing.
let's hope it'll be a lot easier and we'll be all unit owners, so we only have one color.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you can see the color or not. Anyway, the last thing is House Bill 913. I'm going, if for those of you that have computers, look this stuff up. I'm going to basically give you a little snip. House Bill 913 focuses on structural safety, transparency, and oversight in condominium and cooperative associations, particularly for buildings with 3 or more habitable stories. A lot of us have 2-story buildings, but some of this is going to reflect on you. And make yourself aware, because a lot of this is to protect the unit owners that are in your building. And I know, as you should be, and as an officer, you should be a unit owner. Find out what's covered in there, because it gives a lot of the unit owners much more bite when they bark. They're gonna be asking questions, and the board has to be able to answer them. You can no longer say, no, we had a fire in 1912 and all the documents were burnt, sorry. You have a timeline, you must answer, and you must make them available at all possible costs. Okay. Questions? Yes?
Do you have any updates from Seacrest on their Vantica problems?
From personal experience, I just got my June statement. It seems to be almost correct. I'm not sure. But from my understanding, they're getting their act together.
My last statement was February.
I don't know. I'm in G, so you should have been updated with me.
Kathy, I haven't figured out how to use it yet, but my wife has, and she's telling me it's very easy to use. She's now getting matter of fact, we're finding out about delinquent unit owners that we didn't know about in the past for some reason. Suddenly it works. So I'm not sure if they haven't gotten to you yet, or it seems to be working for her.
They're also having classes here.
Well,
You can come to the class and ask questions.
I know how to use it. There's nothing on there for me. Nothing comes up for me. And I have not received anything other than the February financial
But
statement.
what I'm saying is, it could be a glitch in your system, okay? And they do have glitches. But come to one of their classes and explain to them. Do you have in there, on page 2, there's a special number that the president gave us, which is 888-828-6464. Contact that number and ask them, say, where's my paperwork? There's supposed to be somebody answering that all the time, a live body,
Okay.
okay? But
Talked about this last.
I know. Listen, the president sat here with us and gave the number and said, publish this number because somebody watches this.
No, anyway, but this new Vantica thing, like I said, they said that I overpaid by a month, which is so not true. I mean, I would love to get a check, but then they'll see they made a mistake, they'll want it back. I'm not going through that. So I didn't want their check, I don't want to pay late. I know my payments, I'm up to date, not more, not less. Then, I'm surprised you say, you said you never got delinquent. But when they were emailing the monthly, whatever they call it,
Statements.
they always had the delinquent page.
Yeah,
Right.
and in my building, Rhoda, those statements weren't accurate for about 6 months. And suddenly, we've got one that says, I have a unit owner that's 7 months behind. Well, now I've missed warning letter number 1, reminder letter number 2, Mark Friedman letter number 3. So now I've got to start immediately now, going right into foreclosure, and it makes things difficult for us. So that happened to me.
So, anyway, I'm very up on who's delinquent. To me, that's the most important part.
Yeah,
That-
absolutely.
So it was Matthew that, he showed me the thing, this is what you look for, the colored circle, it'll tell you the way. I said, yeah, but this is old, I want to know who's delinquent as of July. So he called Damaris or whatever, and she got back to me. So they emailed me who is delinquent. However, they were 2 months, okay, but the fee isn't what the fee for that unit. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to keep calling them, you're gonna have to keep talking to them, till they work it out.
Look, we had another situation where we had 2 unit owners that were listed as delinquent, and I knew they weren't, because these people are like clocks that way. And I have to be very careful as a director, sending out dunning notices to, if I'm not confident that these people that my report is accurate, I can't send that notice out, because that could get you in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting better. My board is telling me it's getting better, so.
This is just from the other day, where I
Yeah.
went to the meeting with the Vantica, you know, learn how to
Sure.
use it, whatever, and it's not any better.
Okay.
All right.
to the
Rhoda,
hour.
put an email together to Donald explaining that situation.
I
And,
already explained it, I'm not even.
no, please, put it in writing, because Donald has a procedure
Yeah.
where he shoots it up the line, explaining that you've spoken to blah, 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 and you're still not satisfied, that you're
Well,
finding.
she's gonna call.
We'll also-
I'm still waiting for her
Put
to
it,
call
put it
me
in,
back.
please, email Donald, let Donald move it up the
We're
ladder.
also keeping at Yuko a complaint file. Now, I can tell you that the number of complaints has reduced significantly in the last few weeks, but we do, every one of those emails that have that particular complaint or any other is going into the file. And they're aware that we're compiling that file. So, yeah, please send me an email. Just list the problems, all right?
Yeah, not today,
Please, well,
Not today.
well, tomorrow's Saturday, so,
and that's another thing, that's tomorrow.
and Sunday is your day
Monday I
off.
have a big meeting, I can't even.
Just do it.
I will.
Speaking of emails, if you are having a problem with Breeze Line, okay, we also need an email from you. If you, with some of the things that have come up to light, well, if you want a new box, you have to pay for it. Your remote control, will be happy to send it, but you have to pay for it. Anything that you're being told, either over the phone, if you're on the phone for more than 2 or 3 minutes, like 2 or 3 hours or an hour, we need an email, give us the date and the time that it happened. We're also keeping a record of that.
That's another complaint file that we're compiling for documentation purposes.
We need
And
as
did
many,
you want with it?
Well, to be determined,
when,
but send it.
if you watched the meeting that we had with Breeze Line, the broadband meeting on Wednesday, they said they used my phone number to call and they were on hold for less than 2 minutes. And we're getting phone calls that they're saying it's an hour and a half, whatever it is. So maybe they have my phone number flagged, but if it happens to you and you're not happy, or please, if you have a problem with your Breeze Line and it's something simple and they say you need 7 or 8 days down the road, please call me, let me know, and we will try to expedite it, but book the date. A lot of people are calling up and they say, oh, I don't want to wait 7 days, and they never take that appointment. Take the appointment, call me, and I will expedite it for you. But I need you to, we need to know. We need to know. I had a lady in my building that on Monday, her remote control, her box burnt out, and they gave her an appointment for 8 days down the road for a burnt out box. Well, I found out about it on Tuesday, and Wednesday they were there to replace the box, because I made a phone call. So I need to know these things. And if I'm not around, give it to Donald or Joanne.
And listen, contract compliance is our job. So we can't do our job unless you're giving us the complaints.
Right.
All right?
You know, try not to let it escalate to where you're flustered, you're bothered, let us know. We're here to help you. Okay, we may not give you the answer that you want right away, but we'll try to do it as best as we can. All right, anything else? We still have a half hour. We're happy to ask all the questions. No? Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
hopefully,
Thank you very much.
send your friends next month. Yes?
Why was it the last time now?
What's that?
Today. You said it's the last time, the meeting today.
No.
We have a meeting next.
Next month, there'll be a meeting next month, third Friday of the month. I will be here, and as many people will be here. I'm sure that Eva will be here, vice presidents will be here.
Good, thank you.
We'll all be here.
Perfect.
Someone left their
Somebody left
someone left his
yes, it's the
ID.
Oh, lady.
Color. I have a green, I'm a renter, and I have a green. I can show you.
where he could be.
I've already got that.
No, it helps, you know, like.
It's easy to say you don't need to do it, and this is why.